Welcome to day 81 of the 90-day challenge, where I'm attempting to recruit 50 volunteers over the course of 90 days. We've been talking a lot about subs. I've needed subs, and I'm in the process of developing and continuing to create a healthy sub culture in my ministry. And today and yesterday, I want to talk about two different strategies on recruiting and finding subs. And so here's what number two is. Number one was you as a ministry leader are constantly recruiting subs, and you're recruiting them from the people who told you no, or existing volunteers that are pulling back. You're adding them to your sub list. You're cleaning out your sub list, people that stop responding to you or they're never available. You're moving them off your sub list because you need to always be scheduling extra people to come in on the weekend to fill in spots that will inevitably open up because people are going to call out. Okay, that's the first strategy towards subs. The second strategy towards subs are the subs that you let your volunteers recruit. Okay, I learned this from North Point many years ago, and the coaches every week would remind their small group leaders, hey, don't forget to ask parents of your kids about being subs. And so what it was is this idea is that you've got a roster. If you're a small group leader, you've got a roster of 8, 10, 12, maybe 15 kids. And if you've got kids who are regularly attending your group, and part of the strategy of being a good small group leader is to partner with parents. You're building a relationship with parents, either by connecting with them before or after church. Maybe you've got their cell phone number, you're texting them or you're emailing them, you're building a relationship with them. But there's a strategy there that as you're building a relationship with these parents, that from time to time, you're reaching out and asking them about, hey, would you be open to subbing for me every now and again? There's gonna be some weeks where I'm sick or I'm out of town or something's going on, and I serve your kids every week. Would you be willing to be my sub maybe 1 or 2 times a year? And here's the reality. When you show up week to week, investing in their kids every single week, and then when you ask them, hey, would you do me a favor? Like, I'm serving your kid every single week, maybe for multiple years. Would you do me a favor and just would you be willing to be a sub once or twice a year? I don't know a lot of parents that would say no to that. I mean, it seems like such a small ask. And what I've really enjoyed seeing is when I see these young, sometimes teenagers, sometimes they're 17, 18-year-old teenagers, or 15, 16-year-old teenagers, or they might be even 20, 21, 22-year-old college students. And when they reach out to parents of kids who love them, and they reach out, I just always laugh because who's going to say no to them? And so here's the deal. When you empower your small group leaders to make the ask, so many people will say yes. They're not agreeing to church, the children's ministry. Yeah, I'm going to become a sub for the children's ministry. They're saying, I'm going to be a sub for you because I love you, because of the way you love my kid. And so when you need me, call me and I'll be there. Now, obviously, this is a safe and secure children's ministry. So it's not just we're not leaving it up willy-nilly to all the small group leaders to figure this out on their own. No, it's actually still a part of their becoming a church volunteer or a church sub. But what you can do is you can create, maybe it's a shortened training experience, and maybe it's 1 or 2 observations where they're going to come in and they're going to observe. They're going to do their training, on-the-job training, maybe with an apprenticeship checklist, and they're going to show up. We're going to run a background check. They're going to fill out an application. They don't have to come to an orientation. They don't have to do all that stuff. We're just trying to make it quick and easy. But then once they have filled out their application, their background check, and they've come for 1 or 2 observations, they're one of your subs now. And so they can come in and sub. And here's what we found, is that when you empower a great small group leader to ask and recruit their own subs, many of them will. And so now, when they're sick or when they're out of town or something comes up, they're going to reach out to their circle of people first before they let you know that they're not going to be there. And we found time and time again when our volunteers did this, they would just let us know hey, I'm out, but Samantha's going to be subbing for me. And we're like, perfect. And it just lessened the need for staff to figure out who's going to sub for this person. We actually, and this is a conversation for another day, we actually helped our volunteers do this. We gave them scripts, email and text scripts of what they could text and email to the parents of their kids in their small group. We gave them the phone numbers and email addresses, so we empowered them to do that. We told them how they could have this conversation with them in person. So we helped them be successful in this. We actually even did this around a campaign where we let all of our services and age group areas compete against each other to find who could get the most subs in this process. And you know what we did? In this process of doing this little competition, we actually ended up recruiting a lot of new volunteers because a lot of these parents said, you know what? I'd like to do this more than just being a sub. I'd love to do this with you. And we ended up having quite a few people say yes to serving, in addition to recruiting some subs. So I definitely recommend this strategy. We actually created a course at Ministry Boost a couple years ago called Building the Bench, and it's all of this right here. So run those two plays with subs. I think a strong, healthy, thriving children's ministry or student ministry also has a strong bench, which are your subs. It's going to take the pressure off of you. It allows you to schedule during the week, set up for the weekend with your subs, empower your leaders to find their own subs, and you can sit back and take the weekend off knowing that you've got responsible leaders that are going to step in and do what needs to be done, and you'll be much better prepared for the weekend. So don't neglect your subs. Prioritize them, and you're going to find a great opportunity to create a healthier ministry through utilizing subs.